Well, the history of Reliant is starting in the mid-30s, and it was the chief engineer of Raleigh, the bicycle manufacturer. They made three-wheel cars, and it was the management of Raleigh, of which he was one, decided that they weren't worth it. They weren't going to make any money out of them. So he said, do you mind then if I leave and take your tooling, please? And so he started in his own garage building what Raleigh do, which is vans and vehicles for the everyday man. Nobody had any money, and it was basically about setting up tradesmen and people with their own mobility. And then, of course, the tradesmen wanted to take their family to the beach, take the missus out and take the kids out, so they had seats in the back of the vans. And that's where it started from. You could drive them on motorbike licence. They were very cheap to run, they were very cheap to tax, incredibly reliable, and so they started off as literally personal mobility in the same way as a Citroen TCV or a Mini or something like that. And so it became part of British automotive culture. My name's Andy Plumb, and I own a Reliant Robin. Back in the late 90s, I was working at Reliant, and I was doing their design, and we had to do a new Robin. All their moulds were worn out, and so it was either redo the moulds or do a new shape, and that's what I was asked to do. Kind of looked at what was contemporary at the time. The Focus had just been launched, and there was more crisp lines. I was actually asked to use Corsa headlamps. We tried different versions, but I think they had a deal. So I just started sketching, made some models, and it went from there. There were no prototypes of this one. This was make the model, they took the production molds from that model. So that was a bit kind of nerve-wracking, and it was difficult to do on a budget. I'm obviously really proud of it. I think most designers' dream is to have something that they've designed, and so yeah, it just makes me feel happy. The book is called Tipping Point, Designing a Great British Underdog, and it's actually a serious look at a car and a company that's become a joke. But it is effectively the design history of the Reliant Robin, and it was these three-wheelers that were the backbone of that company. And so the book is about that backbone and trying to resurrect it, and unfortunately it didn't work in the end. So this car is orange now, but it started off as being dark green. The reason I painted this orange is because it's a link to the Bond bug in the past with the stripes, and it's a link to Reliant's heritage. And I bought it almost to ruin with 96,000 miles on. Some old bloke had been using it for foxing in the woods in mid-Wales. Headlining was full of leaves and all sorts of stuff, and I blew up the head gasket on the M40 on the way to work, and then I thought, right, it's time to do a restoration. So it's had a body off, nut and bolt restoration. Everything is brand new. The engine is Reliant's own engine, which they've produced since the 1960s. This is 850cc. This has had a few tweaks, cam reshaping and valve springs, and ported and blueprinted. The handling of this car is amazing. It really is good, and you have to really struggle to get it onto two wheels. And if you do, because of the differential, it just lifts wheels, slows the car down, and you can't roll them unless you're really stupid. I suppose if I pushed this car would do close to 100, but you can feel the front end starting to lift above 70. So, yeah. It's an escape, isn't it? It's another world. You can go see different places. I love nothing more than a road trip, a holiday, rather than to fly to a destination. Then it's the individual car makes you feel different in different ways. You know, the way it handles, the way it smells, the way it looks when you look back over it, when you get out of it. And when I'm dribbling in the old people's home, I can look out the window at it, gathering moss in the car park. That's the plan.